Have you ever experienced changing erections? One day, they work just fine. The next day, they let you down. Intermittent erectile dysfunction is one of the most confusing patterns men experience. Many of these men finally end up in my office. I'm Dr. Stefan Buntrock, one of the most copied urologists on YouTube. Internally, I have a different term of intermittent erectile dysfunction. I call them stuttering erections. It matches the phenomenon more precisely, but it's not the official name. If you want information in writing, subscribe to my newsletter. Link in the description. Let's jump right in. Intermittent ED does not mean that the body is incapable of producing an erection. It means that the system that regulates erections is unreliable. The ability is there, but the predictability is not. This distinction is crucial because it changes how we understand the problem and how we approach it. From a urological perspective, erections are not a simple on-off switch. Your penis doesn't obey orders. You can't just tell it to rise. It's much more complicated. You have to allow it to rise because erections are the result of coordinated regulation between blood vessels, nerves, muscles, hormones, and the brain. Small disturbances in timing, tone, or signaling can be enough to disrupt this coordination, even when the underlying structures are intact and healthy. One central mechanism is instability of the autonomic nervous system. Erections depend on parasympathetic dominance. That's the relaxing part. Fight or flight is not useful in these situations. Fight or flight means sympathetic activity. Many men subconsciously submit themselves to an exam situation, but if sympathetic activity remains too high, erections may appear in low-pressure situations, but disappear in moments of expectation, observation, or performance. This is no weakness, and it is not a lack of masculinity. It is dysregulation. A second, often overlooked factor is the pelvic floor. Public narratives almost always focus on a weak pelvic floor. In clinical reality, many men with intermittent ED have the opposite problem, a hypertonic pelvic floor. These muscles are not relaxed at baseline. They are constantly active, clenched, or guarded, even when the body is supposedly at rest. A hypertonic pelvic floor can interfere with venous occlusion, alter sensory feedback, and disrupt the fine timing needed for erection maintenance. Blood may enter the penis but cannot be trapped efficiently. Sensation may feel blunted or unstable. Strengthening exercises in this situation may actually worsen symptoms because they increase tone instead of restoring flexibility and control. The third factor is conditioning and expectation. This is not all in the head, it is learned physiology. When erections become unpredictable, the body starts anticipating failure. That anticipation subtly shifts autonomic balance, muscle tone, breathing patterns, and attention. The result is a self-reinforcing loop, occasional success followed by disproportionate failure. This explains why many men with intermittent ED insist that stress is not the issue. They are often right. They function well at work, under pressure, and in daily life. What they experience is not generalized stress, but situation-specific dysregulation tied to sexual contexts and learned bodily responses. Importantly, intermittent ED should not be ignored. It also should not be catastrophized. Red flags, such as absent morning erections, progressive worsening, cardiovascular risk factors, or neurological symptoms require proper medical evaluation. At the same time, a normal test result does not mean nothing's wrong. It means the problem is regulatory, not structural. Treatment must reflect this reality. Simply telling men to relax is ineffective. Automatically prescribing strengthening exercises can be counterproductive. Medication may help in some cases, not because it fixes the cause, but because it stabilizes the system and reduces uncertainty. In parallel, addressing pelvic floor tone, breathing patterns, posture, and sensory awareness can be essential. The key point is this: intermittent ED is not a contradiction, it is a signal. It shows that the system works, but not reliably. The goal is not to force erections, the goal is to restore stable regulation. Understanding this pattern helps men move away from self-blame and away from false promises. It replaces the question, "What's wrong with me?" with a better one: what is interfering with regulation right now? That shift alone often changes the trajectory. Intermittent ED is common, under-recognized, and poorly explained online. It deserves a clear medical framework. When we stop reducing it to stress or weakness, we can finally address what is actually happening in the body. Stuttering erections reminds us that sexual function is dynamic. It changes with context, state, and regulation. Recognizing this complexity is not a weakness. It is the first step toward reliable function and long-term sexual health, over time naturally. I'm Dr. Stefan Buntrock, always copied, never matched.